the internal vertebral venous plexus, this one here, it surrounds the dura mater, the spinal dura mater. So here is your spinal cord here. There is the anterior median fissure, anterolateral sulcus. That's the anterior rootlets. Then there would be a posterior rootlets coming off the back, together forming the spinal nerve. There's the posterior root ganglion, posterior primary ramus, anterior primary ramus. The dura mater is this white area around here. The black line, if you can see it, that's the arachnoid mater, and this space here, that's the subarachnoid space. The pia mater covers the spinal cord directly. So here the dura mater is this white portion, and you can see it is surrounded by the internal vertebral venous plexus here. And then outside of the internal vertebral venous plexus there's a layer of fat tissue called extradural fat, because it's outside of the dura mater, extradural. And then around the fat is the vertebral bone. So you have the vertebral bone, the vertebral foramen, the canal through which spinal cord passes, then there's the fat, then there's internal venous, vertebral venous plexus, dura mater, spinal dura mater, and then arachnoid mater, pia mater, and spinal cord. So it's important that you understand that the dura mater does not come directly in contact with the vertebral bone, but is surrounded by the internal venous plexus and then a layer of extradural fat. So now we look at the cranial nerves. So this is the brain viewed from inferior view. It's half of the brain, one hemisphere, and again we're looking at it from the inferior view, from the bottom. You see there is the frontal lobe in there, there is a temporal lobe, here's the cerebellum, there's pons and medulla oblongata. There are 12 cranial nerves. We won't talk about their function at this moment, just gonna name them and their locations. So here the first cranial nerve is the olfactory nerves, and note that cranial nerves, from previous tutorial I told you the cranial nerves are a part of the peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system consists of cranial nerves and spinal nerves, and a bundle of axons within the peripheral nervous system, we call them nerves. So if you hear the word nerve, you know we're talking about the peripheral nervous system. Okay, so the 12 cranial nerves, because they're part of the peripheral nervous system, we do not call them 12 cranial tracts. We call them 12 cranial nerves because they're part of the peripheral nervous system. So we use the term nerve. This here, the first cranial nerve, is the olfactory nerve, involved with sense of smell. We cannot see the olfactory nerve here because it's the neurons, sensory neurons, that are located within our nose, and they send their branches, their axons, to this olfactory bulb located at the base of the frontal lobe. So the olfactory nerves, since this is the bottom view, inferior view of the brain, you can imagine they're coming up like so, my pen pointing like this, many of them like this. So my pen are the olfactory nerves coming from the nose, go up to the olfactory bulb, lots of them like this. Okay, those would be the olfactory nerves, cranial nerve 1. And so they send their signals to the olfactory bulb, and then from the olfactory bulb the olfactory tract takes it to the brain.